Welcome, everybody, to this brief preview of a book event that Nick Gergadou and I will be doing this Friday at the Kerouac Project of Orlando, which is a residency program located inside the historic home where Jack Kerouac wrote the first draft of the Dharma Bums, here in Orlando, the city beautiful. So Friday, Nick and I are going to discuss Kenneth Patchen's 1945 masterpiece, Memoirs of a Shy Pornographer, and I apologize in advance, there's no pornography in this book. So Kenneth Patchen may be an author whose name you don't know. Some people consider him to be at the fringe of the Beat generation of writers, which would make him at the fringe of the fringe. He was a bohemian weirdo. Early on during the rise of the Beat movement, he did appreciate some of the work coming out of that. And he was a poet who also experimented with jazz poetry, which is how he came to end up being regarded as a member of the Beat generation, even though, he really doesn't fit neatly in that category. So let me read what was in the original back matter from the first edition of Memoirs of a Shy Pornographer. Can you imagine why a pornographer would be shy? Are you satisfied with the state of A, world society, B, your soul, C, American writing? Are you in the habit of reading books that could have been written by anybody? Do you really want the truth? Do you know how angels learn to fly? What would you feed a green deer? Do you think a profound social message can be conveyed by a book that is comic in character? I don't know if the book answers all these questions, but I think the book definitely asks all of those questions. So the book tells the story of Albert Budd, who lives with his sister in Brooklyn, and he ends up writing a novel inspired by her life, working as a seamstress. That novel is called The Spool of Destiny. The book gets picked up for publication overseas, is translated so that it can appear overseas, and then is retranslated back into English for its English publication as The Spill of Desire. He becomes world famous as a pornographer, and then all kinds of other things happen, and that's like in the first 10 pages of the book. Cause and effect are kind of loosened in this crazy narrative. It's not a long novel, not a short novel, 242 pages. And it is trippy to say the least. I do argue that it is the first postmodern novel, and I'm not going to get into that here as the street noise is threatening around me, and I think I feel some red ants starting to bite at my ankles. So let this suffice as a preview. Hopefully you can come out on Friday, 6:30, to hear me read some scandalous poetry, and then not long thereafter, hear me and Nick talk about this wonderful novel. Also, Chrissy Kalea is my special guest as a poet for the evening. Hope to see you there.